Well, hello, science class. I want to talk with you about the application on page 149. The application on 149 is all about naming of compounds. Sometimes you're given the name of the compound and asked to give the molecular formula for it. Sometimes you're given the molecular formula and asked to give the name of the compound. What I want you to do on 149, I want you to do numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10. Numbers 8, 9, 11, and 12 have to do with those ionic compounds and are a little more complicated. And I would, in a perfect world, be there so I could show you on the blackboard what we're doing. So just do those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10 is all I want you to do. Now, if you'll turn back with me to page 147 in your book, about the middle of the page on the left side, it tells how you name compounds. There's a chart there called prefixes used to name simple compounds. You'll notice that on the left, it tells the number of atoms, and then in the next column tells the prefix that you use for the number of atoms. Usually, if you've only got one atom in a compound, you don't use the prefix mono. There's a very few that you do. If you look at number 2, the prefix is di. For instance, carbon dioxide means you have one atom of carbon and 2 of oxygen. So it's dioxide. If you want to name those, they always put "ide" on the end of the last element that's in the compound. So it's carbon and oxygen, CO2 for carbon dioxide. 3, you use tri. 4, you use tetra. 5, you use penta. 6, you use hexa. So let's turn over and look at those on page 149 in the application. It says, write the molecular formula for each of the following covalent bonds. Well, you've got sulfur dioxide. Sulfur, since it doesn't have any prefix on it, means that there's only one atom of sulfur. Dioxide means that there are 2 atoms of oxygen. So sulfur is S and dioxide is O2, SO2. The second one, dinitrogen oxide. Well, you've got nitrogen, we know that's one of the elements, and the prefix is di. So you know you're going to have 2 of them. So it would be N2. That's dinitrogen. Oxide means that there's no prefix on the oxygen, so it's just 1. So the molecular formula for that compound would be N2O. 2 nitrogen, 1 oxygen, dinitrogen oxide. If you look at number 3, dioxygen chloride. You've got oxygen, you've got a prefix di, which means 2, so you're going to have O2, and you're going to have chloride there. That's chlorine, but there's no prefix on it, so it means there's just 1. Dioxygen, O2Cl. O2Cl. Beginning with number 4, it says write the name of each of the following covalent molecule compounds. Number 4 is N2O3. N2, N is nitrogen. You've got 2 of them. If you go back 1 page to the chart, if it's 2, you make it di. So N2 is dinitrogen. And then you've got O, which is oxygen, but there's 3 of them, so the prefix is tri. And you put "ide" on the end of the last atom in the molecule. So dinitrogen trioxide. Dinitrogen, N2, trioxide is O3. Dinitrogen trioxide. Number 5, UF6. Well, U is uranium, F is fluorine. You've only got 1 atom of uranium, but you've got 6 of fluorine, or let's see, fluorine, yes. So there's no prefix that you're going to use for uranium, but the prefix for fluorine, if you look at number 6, is hexa. And you want to put "ide" on the end of it because that's what you do. So number 5 would be uranium hexafluoride, UF6. Number 6 is BCl. B, I think, is bromine or something. Let me look at the periodic table, if I can find it here right quick, or even right slow. Let me pause you a minute. Okay, I'm back. On page 131 is your periodic table. And B is the 5th element on the periodic table, boron. And Cl is the 17th, which is chlorine. B would be boron. Cl in the application would be chloride. Remember, you put "ide" on the end. Simply boron chloride. So number 4 is dinitrogen trioxide. Number 5 is uranium hexafluoride. And number 6 is boron chloride. Write the formula for each of the following ionic compounds. And ionic compounds are a little bit different. They're a whole lot more complicated. But number 7 and number 10 are fairly straightforward. Number 7 is zinc oxide. Well, what we have to do is find zinc on our table. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, zinc is number 30 on your periodic table, Zn. So how do you write zinc oxide? Well, since there are no prefixes on either one of them, zinc or the oxygen, then there's only 1 zinc atom, there's only 1 oxygen atom, so you write it ZnO. ZnO. And number 10, which is Ki. Again, K is potassium, which is number 19, and I is iodine, which is number 53. K and I. There's only one K atom, potassium. There is only one I atom, iodine. So we don't have to worry with any prefixes. It's just straightforward potassium iodide. Potassium iodide. I wish I had a whole class to put this on the board and talk to you about it. But hopefully that helps you out a little bit with the naming of those elements. It covers it really good, beginning at the bottom of the page on 146 and going on through to the top of the page, 148. But that ought to help you with the application. Be sure and like this to let me know that you watched it, and let's get those envelopes into the school on Monday. Thanks, and God bless.